Greetings, Shocker community. It's your old buddy Ydna. I have finished the production on our new bolt guides. As you can see, they're sitting here right in front of me, looking all nice and shiny. I'm going to send them off to anodizing in a couple days, but they're basically all done at this point. So I wanted to make this video just to give you a quick rundown, because there's a lot of kind of interesting details related to these things, and I want to make sure some people are aware of what they're getting into if they buy one. I've got 3 different styles, as evident by the 3 different versions here. This is probably the most basic version. This is probably going to be called like the rim version or something. Looks kind of like a car rim. This is the most minimalist, like lightweight design. Looks pretty good. The Allen key hex is increased to 1/4 inch to make it a little bit more difficult to strip out. So you'll need to have a 1/4 inch Allen key in order to use it. But that's the only detail there. This version, which I'm calling the Lobe, this is probably the most popular so far from all the preview pictures I've posted and everything. This is basically just a tool-free knob that's going to stick out the back of the marker, but it's all nice and smooth. I tried to model it after some of the other bolt guides that I've made for different pieces of equipment, but this is, like I said, probably the most popular so far. I think that this will be easiest to match with most markers because it's just a basic knob that looks pretty nice. So I made a little bit more of them. Hopefully I don't run out. And then the final version is the gauge style. As you can see, it has a pressure gauge sticking out the back, which will read the shot pressure going through the marker. This is going to be excellent for people that want to be able to tune their markers but don't want to have a gauge on the gun, so this will facilitate that. Now, it's not going to come with a gauge unless you pay a little bit extra. If you don't buy the gauge, it'll just have a plug back there. But you can use whatever mini gauge you want, and obviously it sticks out a little bit. Focus, please. There we go. It sticks out a little bit behind the knob, and that's on purpose. We did that so that you can actually install it down the line, and you can remove the gauge if it gets damaged or broken. Just wanted to make sure that it was a little bit future-proof in that way. So they're looking pretty good. Let me show you over here. I have the bumpers. I've went ahead and made a whole bunch of bumpers. These are compatible with any bolt guide, whether it's a stock bolt guide or whether it's mine. These bolt guides will come with a bumper, so you won't have to use your own. And these bumpers are compatible with everything else out there. So that brings me to the section of the video where we talk about whether or not this is a drop-in part for your marker. And the answer is yes, it is a drop-in part. But I've done something interesting here, right? Over the last couple weeks when I've been making these things, I've gotten to a lot of conversations with people about trying to control rollback in their breech. And so people were asking me, why haven't I made a bolt guide that has an anti-rollback blocker that sticks out the front, which will prevent rollback? And the answer to that is pretty simple. It's because some Shocker bolts look like that, where they don't have an open face. And the anti-rollback blocker can only work with an open face. So I'm trying to do something that's sort of the best of both worlds when it comes to these things. I've drilled and tapped a hole in the front, which you can install a screw. And the screw will be included with every bolt guide, whether or not you want to use it or not. So what the purpose of the screw is it will stick out. If I can show you here. Oh God, it's so dark. I can't see it. There's a screw. Oh, there we go. There's a screw that's positioned sticking out the front, which will prevent the ball from rolling back. If I put a ball in there and tip the gun back, you can see it does not roll back at all, which is good. But the disadvantage is, obviously, this will only work if you have an open bolt, an open bolt face on your Shocker bolt. So you can use this as a drop-in part with any open face Shocker bolt, which includes the older New Designs version 3s that are open face, any Evolve bolt, those are all open faced, Knox bolt, the Tech T Inertia bolt, or an Ydna bolt. Those are all open face bolts, and it will be drop in. And you can use that I dropped my ball. You can use that anti-rollback screw to very adequately control rollback. So if you have any bolt that is not open-faced, like a Smart Parts bolt or a New Designs bolt that has a Venturi, then you will need to drill out the front of your bolt in order to do it. So that is something you can do at home if you have a bench vise and a drill. You can do it. It's a risky thing, so I'm going to make a video that shows you how to do it, but it's kind of a do-it-yourself thing, which means you accept all responsibility for destroying your bolt if that happens. Obviously I can do it for you, but then you got to send me your parts, and I don't know if you want to bother sending parts in and having them get, you know, drilled and sent back, because it's going to cost money. But I wanted to make sure that people at least had the option of doing an anti-rollback, even if they don't like it. Some people... Oh, I gotta get my ball. Some people don't like the anti-rollback blockers because the bolt doesn't even touch the ball at all until it reaches about a third of the way through the chamber. And then sometimes it can make the ball kind of smack to the side and clip it. So your mileage may vary when it comes to this. Personally, I found it to be a fairly reliable system because it doesn't rely on any soft face tips like some markers have, like the minis or axes, or the Tipman bolts that have soft face tips, or some of those Eclipse bolts that have soft face tips. Those things work okay, but they're not like the easiest way to control the rollback because it's squishy. This will 100% control rollback with the small caveat that the ball might get clipped. So if you want to risk it, then I say go for it, and I will allow you to do that by providing the parts for you to do that. You can install them if you want, or you can just throw the bolt guide into the marker without the set screw, just like this, and it'll work just like any other bolt. You won't have to worry about anything that's different from any other shocker. So the choice is yours. I'm just trying to make sure that everybody is on the same page when it comes to the, you know, possibilities for these modifications. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with how these things turned out. The system is really easy to make because this is obviously a two-piece design. This is the shaft, which is common between all of the different styles. So all I have to do is make a whole big pile of these shafts, and then I can make separately the actual screw-in section, and that makes it a lot easier for me to make. So that's really good because it helps me to keep the cost down. So speaking of costs, how much are these things going to cost? They're going to be probably $45. And that's also without the gauge. The gauge will be extra if you choose to purchase it, or you can use whatever gauge you want as long as it's a mini style like that. Like I said, it'll come with a plug if not. So the bumper will be included with every bolt guide. The anti-rollback screw will be included separately with every bolt guide. Or I shouldn't say separately. It'll come with it, but it won't be installed. You'll have to install it on your own. And I'll make a video and I'll show you how to do it. It's easy to do. Obviously, all you got to do is screw it into the front and see if it sticks out too far, and if it does, screw it in more. So it's a pretty painless system. But hopefully this will be available. I will be selling them through Nummech products. And also probably through eBay. And if any of my retailers decide they want to pick them up, then that's great. I don't know if any will, because it's a pretty old platform, and I don't really expect a lot of the brand name stores to be jumping on board with selling parts for outdated markers, because it doesn't seem like many of them want to do that. But if they want to do that, good for them. I'll help you out. But in any case, I think that's everything. So let me know if you have any questions or comments or concerns, and I'll try to get back to you. Until then, hopefully these will be available in a couple weeks, and you can pick one up. I think that's it. Okay, bye.